Well, Daisuke, you ready to get into some of these announcements?
Sure. Yeah, I'm really ill prepared when it comes to these sorts of things. So I'm going to have to rely on your best judgment and comments here. So I'm very much an amateur when it comes to this. But yes, please, anything I can do to contribute to the conversation, as ill-equipped as I may be. So I apologize in advance.
I will keep us flowing, but if anything catches your eye, by all means, step in. Any actor or anything like that you really appreciate, anything that you've seen, we'd love to hear some commentary.
Okay, great.
This first one is coming on December 12th on Blue from VCI. This is Mike Hammer's Mickey Spillane. This is an updated 2022 version, even though they're calling it the 75th Anniversary Expanded Edition. This is going to have an audio commentary on it by Max Allen Collins and a bonus film called Encore for Murder. And I have definitely not seen this at all, but the updated version is intriguing.
Oh, well done. See, this is news to me. So, wow, very interesting. VCI. Okay. That's been on my radar of late. So, thank you so much for this.
Happily. Next up is another film, or another series release, actually, from Fabulous Films. We talked about one of these last week. October 30th on Blu-ray in the UK. They're releasing Ivor the Engine, the complete collection. This is a series that ran from 1959 to 77, and it's some animation that looks really fun. And Fabulous Films has been doing a couple of these back-to-back, so I'm intrigued because I tend to love animation. How do you feel about animation?
Oh, that's really cool. So, I haven't seen all of these. I was able to not catch this series, but I don't know the series fully, of course. But yeah, I know of this. So I wouldn't call myself an expert, but this is also news to me. Very interesting. And as far as animation is concerned, as I say, I wouldn't call myself an expert, but I think, I mean, it's like animation it's a vast grouping. So it's like saying something akin to, "Oh, do you like film?"
Do you like dramas?
Yeah. So because I think that's a wonderful thing about it, and I think there are a number of labels that really represent animation work so well. Maybe some quite strongly, in fact. So, this is wonderful news. Again, I wouldn't call myself an expert, and my experience has been very, very, very limited. But this is very welcome news indeed. Very cool.
I'm always intrigued to hear about new animation releases.
Yeah.
Next up, December 19th, Kino is releasing their fourth in their new Kino cult line, and that is going to be Sinner. This is a Jess Franco film, and this is going to have a brand new audio commentary by Tim Lucas, which for many, that commentary alone is going to warrant a purchase because Tim Lucas is pretty great at what he does.
I agree.
I don't know that I've ever heard Daisuke talk about Jess Franco.
No, I haven't. I haven't seen this film, Sinner. So, and I don't know of this particular subcategory or lineup or line here. So thank you. You're telling me this great news as well. So thank you so much for this. Secret Diary of an Infomaniac.
Kino Lorber just announced Kino Cult fairly recently, and I think the first release in this new line comes out literally next Tuesday or the Tuesday after. So this is great timing. They're releasing 3, and it looks like they're getting decent titles that will appeal to individuals that are into the cult and horror side of probably mostly the 70s and 80s.
Cool. I'm a huge fan of Kino Lorber generally.
Yeah.
So, this is great news. Do you know what those other 3 titles are? Again, I'm very embarrassed for not knowing.
No, you're good. I can pull them up in about 4 seconds because they just started to arrive at Orbit DVD today, and they are The Dark Power, Lorna the Exorcist, and Alien Outlaw.
Oh. Okay.
Lorna the Exorcist is another Jess Franco title.
Yeah.
And The Dark Power, this is one I believe that had a previous release from, oh gosh, I can't remember offhand, but it's one that some people were fairly excited in. And then Alien Outlaw is actually a Lash LaRue title.
This sounds like a very interesting lineup. I'll have to
Yeah.
see what I can do about this. Again, so I have to figure out how is my wallet going to survive these?
Right.
But we'll find a way. We'll find a way. There, to paraphrase Jurassic Park, life finds a way. Yeah,
Physical media finds a way.
definitely.
This is one that I was just mentioning on the pre-show before Daisuke was here, and that is the fact that Arbalos is, they just announced their newest title, and that is Life is Cheap, but toilet paper is expensive. This is a Wayne Wang film from 1989, and this was super rare to be able to see. So I think this
Yeah.
is one that is fairly important to support. This is available to pre-order on their site now, and it does come, like I just showed, it comes in one of these magnificent and envelope-style slipcovers if you order direct from them. And it's going to come with this fancy little money bag with a fake $100 bill and everything.
Wow. This is amazing. Oh, I'm a big fan of Wayne Wang. I've never been able to see this.
Yeah.
Oh, this is so Arbalos. So I've never ordered directly from them either because again, I just moved to the United States. So I know their work and their releases. Very impressive lineup thus far. This is really incredible news. Wow.
Yeah, this is one they've been working on for a very long time, from what I hear, like at least a couple of years.
Wow, that's and I'm sorry again. I'm showing my lack of expertise here, but again, not having ever ordered from Arbalos directly because of my living situation up to a few months ago. So, what kinds of? You mentioned an envelope. Is there?
It is an envelope style slipcover, so it literally opens like an envelope. All of their limited editions have this, and when you buy it direct, you get one. If you buy it anywhere else, it will not have that. And this one is going to have, it's a brand new 4K restoration. The Lightbox Film Center is the one that did the restoration in Philly, I believe. And they did that in collaboration with UC Berkeley. And there's a new video interview on this with Wayne Wang. There's a new video interview with Wayne Wang and the co-writer and co-director Spencer Nakasako. And you got the theatrical trailer. There's a new essay by Elisa Ma. All around, I mean, this is an astonishing release for a film that people have not been able to see ever.
Wow, this is great news. Wayne Wang's films have been getting a lot of recent attention or re-attention of late. And this is continuing the trend, it looks like, in a very spectacular way. Oh, wow, this is amazing.
Yeah, this one's a big deal, especially, and Criterion's been showing him some love, so that's exciting.
Yeah.
Wow. Antonio says, thanks for the heads up on Arbalos. Never heard of them. Arbalos has been around for, I'm going to say about 5 years. And Craig from Deaf Crocodile and Dennis from Deaf Crocodile used to be a part of Arbalos. And now the gentlemen that own Arbalos are also the gentlemen that run Canadian International Pictures, the OCN partner label. And the two individuals there work their butt off to make these great releases. So this is one, if you are in any way interested in the films of Wayne Wang, I would jump on this soon. Next up, the classic show Leave It to Beaver is getting a full Blu-ray release on November 14th. Not many details available on this yet, but that is honestly very surprising to me that they put the amount of money and attention into this to get Leave It to Beaver on Blu-ray. Have you watched many of these classic TV shows, Daisuke?
I've seen my share of Leave It to Beaver. Yes. Yeah. I wouldn't, again, the same thing. I wouldn't call myself an expert, but I enjoy them very much. So, yeah, to get news like this is very, very, very exciting. Although again, so much to draw from the well of great TV shows. If they can get things like Leave It to Beaver, that's great. I mean, this is a kind of a classic.
Oh yeah,
series in a lot of ways. So, this is great. Again, I don't know the history of the series very well, but yeah, I have seen my share of episodes. So very funny. Yeah.
Yeah, this is foundational for many people, so hopefully it does well. They also announced, and these are both coming from Universal. This is coming on November 14th as well. The Expanse, which is a modern sci-fi film. I've not seen any of this, but I've heard that it's really great. And the only thing that might be frustrating if you're a fan of the show is that they were selling the seasons singly as they came out. And I believe the last two seasons were never released singly. So if you bought the first 3 or 4 seasons, you've got those, and now you don't have a way to finish the series unless you buy this full package, which would mean you'd be doubling up on those first few.
Oh my goodness! Isn't it great when releases happen like that? Yeah. Oh gosh. Yeah.
If only
I don't know the series directly myself either, but
yeah, I've heard this is decent. I would like to at least check out a couple episodes. Then TerrorVision made a grand re-entry into some announcements, and we have a glut of items to talk about from them. The first one, we had this title announced previously, so I think most of these were announced previously, so we're just going to go through some of the details. This one's going to have a new commentary on it. Justin Beam is the one moderating with Ray DiZazzo. There's an interview with DiZazzo, interview with Addison Randall, and once again, they went and did a Shocktail Hour with the horror host Aurora Borealis, giving us Hollowgate, and it sounds and looks like a pretty incredible release. TerrorVision, have you dabbled into them at all yet?
No.
TerrorVision is a very interesting company. They've only been on the scene for a couple short years, but the releases they are putting out are fun. A lot of them low budget. A lot of them are ones from people's childhood, and very curious to see how many people are going to jump on these. Josephine says hello, and Michael Smith has a question. Daisuke, I know you have all the criterions. I was wondering, how many have you seen? Do you keep track of all of those?
Oh, you mean the films in the physical media catalog? So yes, as of now, I think I've seen all of them. What are the recent ones? I don't know what I haven't gotten the really recent ones yet. So
right. Well, we're going to be talking about Criterion in just a minute anyway, so that's exciting. The next one from TerrorVision was Wood Chipper Massacre. This is from 1988. This is going to have a commentary and a whole bunch of interviews. This looks like a solid release, but also they're not even done yet. They're saying there's more extras that they're going to be working on for this. All of these you can pre-order now, and it should be shipping in late November. So
I've never seen Wood Chipper Massacre.
Neither have I, and it seems like many people have not.
Okay.
Next up is Blood Car. This is from 2007. Wild cover on this one. This one's going to have a commentary with the cast and crew, commentary with film scholar Dr. Rutherford Thorpe. There's a behind the scenes of Blood Car, and the last and tribulations of Johnny Bush is what it was called. Not sure on this one. I've not heard many who had mentioned it, but Anna Klumsky's in this, the individual from My Girl and Veep. So
cool.
That might be enough to draw some people in.
Wow, that's right. Oh wow. Well, I'm intrigued. See, I didn't know anything about Blood Car, and I was just thinking, my goodness, this cover is intriguing. You know, the blood is all over the place, but the face is noticeably free from any blood splatter. So I was thinking about that, but then you mentioned this migrant. Oh wow, interesting. I am intrigued. Yes,
I am.
Yes, intrigued by this. Wow, I don't know this film either. So
Daisuke showing up on my channel is going to get Daisuke interested in super low budget horror.
Well done. This is great.
Next up is Dead Air. This is a film with Bill Moseley in it. Obviously, he's the individual from Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 and Devil's Rejects and House of a Thousand Corpses. This one is going to have a commentary with Corbin Burnson, Anatomy of a Shot featurette, Fly in the Wall featurette, some behind the scenes. But this one sounds really good, and this one had not been announced previously. This one's from 2009, and it's about a DJ played by Bill Moseley. And it's supposed to be pretty dang fun.
Again, another film I don't know. This is sounds like a very interesting label already. I'm very intrigued.
Yeah, and they're about to get really broad. Like they announced that they are putting out the old silent film Inferno from I think it's 1918 or 1919, and so they are going to be doing a lot of interesting stuff compared to what they have been doing.
Oh wow.
Next
What's
up,
the price point like? Do you know
they
this?
are very competitive, I would say. All of their Blu-rays are no higher than $24.99,
Good.
and they do dabble in 4K, and none of those are higher than $29.99. So overall, I mean that's pretty good. And then every once in a while, they've dropped a couple titles down for sale for somewhere around like $20 to $22.
Good. That's good.
Yeah, not too bad. And they offer a pretty interesting subscription service where you can choose to go 10, 20, 30, 40, or 50 titles from them and get a much higher discount. Next up from them is one that they've been talking about for a while now, and that's The Jar from 1984. This one got an extensive restoration that they just showed at Fantastic Fest and supposedly did very well. This is going to have a couple different commentaries on here and a handful of interviews and even more extras coming soon. This is one that a lot of people have been asking about, so I'm sure this one is going to do pretty well.
Oh, very cool.
Next up from them is the Japanese film Door from 1988. And this one, I just wanted to remind everybody, is getting another release from Third Window Films in the UK very soon, or just did. Have you seen this one?
Yeah, I know this. Yeah, I don't know anything about outside of Japan releases though. So, this is very interesting. Yeah. Have you seen this film yet?
I've not, because I'm waiting on this release to,
of
to be
course.
able
Yes.
to
What
see
am I
it.
saying?
Yeah.
Yes. Of course.
Third Window Films. Do you know them?
Yes.
They're out of the UK. So they just released a double feature of Door and its sequel, Door 2.
Ah,
And
yeah.
the only thing I will say is that double feature is on a 25 gig Blu-ray disc, so it might be slightly compressed to this one.
Okay.
This one's going to have a lot more features than that other one as well.
Okay. So this might be the place to go.
Unless you really want that sequel as well. But honestly, it sounds like you might just want to pick up both discs. Not to pressure anybody, but like to have the best of every world. That sounds like it would be the way to go.
Oh, that's great. I don't go into the Third Window catalog very much because I usually have a reliance on Japanese releases generally. But
Right.
I think I know their catalog generally speaking, and it's really quite wonderful. Especially, a lot of these films you can't get outside of Japan.
It's true.
Without, the Japanese releases don't have English subtitles. They're really, really expensive. And sometimes it's cost prohibitive to get them shipped from Japan to wherever place. And so places like this and well done. Oh, I'm very impressed.
And Third Window, one of the other things that is honestly even more impressive is that they're all ran by one individual. Adam at Third Window Films does everything from designing the cover art to getting interviews scheduled with directors to doing commentaries. He is a machine over there. Next up from TerraVision is one that they're going to have two different cover art options for, and that is the film Slashers. This is a serial killer movie about a Japanese game show, and this sounds fantastic. This one says, Slashers is a hit Japanese game show where contestants win millions of dollars if they can survive the unthinkable. A group of Americans step up to the challenge and into the labyrinthian set where three masked maniacs will stop at nothing to ensure the participants pay the ultimate price in their pursuit of the prize. Let the gory games begin.
Yes, this sounds really cool indeed. I don't know this at all, so this sounds very cool.
This is directed by Maurice Devereaux, who also did the film End of the Line, which a lot of people got from TerraVision and seemed to like. There's going to be a commentary with the director, some interviews, some extended and deleted scenes, and again, even more extras that they're working on for this. This sounds like a solid release.
Oh, wow.
They also released some VHSs. Srigala from Indonesia, Woodchipper Massacre are both available now on VHS. And then they announced some LPs. They put out the Marshmallow Ghosts. And then the big one after these cassettes, Friday the 13th, Part 2, 3, and 1, and Monster Squad were all released on cassette. And then this big Monster Squad vinyl set that they just released looks very compelling.
No kidding. Oh, because I'm gonna have the Monster Squad song in my head now. Oh, that's great. The Monster Squad. Oh, this is so cool. Yes, yes, cassette tape. So I I don't know. I'm old enough to remember cassette tapes.
Same.
This thing always tugs at the heartstrings. I think very, very with a great sense of fondness and sort of euphoria and nostalgia. So this is very cool indeed. But yeah, oh, this is really great. I don't know. Are these more collectibles rather than the actually playing, or how does it work in sort of today's marketplace? So, for the cassette tapes, for example.
A lot of people actually do play them. Surprisingly, it is a lot of people love that scratchy. It's like a nostalgic look back on the way they used to listen to music. And
yeah. Do you remember that feeling you get when you wanted to play one side and you realize it wasn't rewound? Oh my goodness, You had to wait until and then sometimes it was battery powered.
Trying to find that exact perfect spot, rewinding 38 times. My big thing, I had a big nostalgia moment because just this week, and this is funny because it's close to me, I showed my kids Monster Squad for the first time. We watched it all as a family together, and man, it is just the greatest experience to start to share films with your kids. I love it so much.
That's a really good point. I never thought, but that is, I think, a good entry point into the world of the monster world, but done in a type of sort of thrilling way that's still, I think, not totally. It's still a sort of maybe age appropriate level in a manner of speaking. Oh, that's a really good point. I should think about that when showing movies to my kids.
It is decent. I will say there's a lot more slurs than I remember there being in that.
Okay, that's a good point. Okay, I should keep that in mind as well.
It's quite a homophobic movie at the beginning. I totally forgot about that.
Okay, yeah. Actually, you're right. Okay, so something to think about. But yeah, that's a good point. But still, yeah, I take your points very well. Yeah.
Next up from them, for slashers, they're also doing some merch if you're into it. They've got a couple different shirts you can buy. Either way, I just really wanted to shout out TerraVision because I know some people were not really keen on them for a while, but some of the titles they're announcing, it is really, really exciting lately. We have a good question for you, Daisuke. Do you know what region code Japanese releases usually fall under? I think they're still region A, right?
Oh, for Blu-rays? Yes. So region A, and then for DVDs, it's whatever it is, Zone B, I think. So the region is the same for Blu-rays as in North America, but the zones for DVDs are different.
Yeah, I think the DVD zones I think there's like 8 or 9 of them across the world. It was wild times. Okay, so here's Terry. Terry says the TerraVision vinyl is quite good. The bundle is tempting. Terry is one that still listens to vinyl every single day. So, yes, a lot of these people are buying these to actually listen to. I promise. Next up is Severin Films. They announced that on December 12th, you can get this in a wide release, or they will ship it in mid to late November straight to you if you order from their website. There is a bundle here called Danza Macabra Volume 2, the Italian Gothic Collection, and this is going to be a mix. Castle of Blood in this is going to be 4K, and everything else is going to be Blu-ray. The Castle of Blood release is 3 discs altogether. One of them is the 4K of the film and special features. One is the Blu-ray and special features. And then the third disc is all special features. They went all in on Castle of Blood. It is overloaded. This looks like such a compelling release. Then we have Jekyll from 1969. And this is going to be a set of 2 different discs for Jekyll. And they've got some special features on this. They got some interviews with some actors, some set designers, a video essay by Joseph Dwyer. And then the 6th disc in this is They Have Changed Their Face from 1971. And this is going to have an audio commentary with the director, and then another audio commentary by Kat Ellinger, and then an interview with the film critic, Alberto Farina, who is the son of the director. And then an interview with the actor on this, some outtakes, some short films. There's just a lot going into this release. And that's not even the last disc. The last one is The Devil's Lover from 1972. This one has an audio commentary, a video essay by Alexandra Heller-Nicholas, and then an interview with the actor Robert Woods. And if that's not enough, they're also including an 8th disc, the soundtrack for The Devil's Lover on CD.
Yeah, I need to get this. I don't know how you feel, but I need to get this. I haven't pre-ordered it yet. I've been meaning to get around to this. I heard about this. So,
did you happen to get the first box they did like this?
Yes.
Have you watched it? Did you enjoy it?
I did, very much so. I haven't spoken about it on my channel or anything. I mean, I don't. I wish I could. It's. I'm very, very impressed with it. So when I heard this news, I was. I think I'm going to get it. I don't know exactly. Again, how am I going to afford it? Again, life finds a way. So, but I'm very excited for this.
There's something special about this set and the first set. They are specially curated. You can tell that a lot of love and thoughtful, very specific consideration to the titles and to the features that are on these. You can just tell that they worked a lot on this. That's hilarious. Ken says, I want Castle of Blood on 4K so bad. It looks like I'll have to wait a year or more for standard. If they put one out, who knows?
Oh, that's a good point, right? Because it's nothing has been announced in terms of a potential standalone, right? Okay, I see. Yeah.
And that first one, I think that came out early this year, and we still haven't heard anything about standard releases for that one.
Okay.
Have a good night, Nathan. I'm sure you're going to watch tomorrow.
Oh, Nathan Jones. Hello.
Yeah. Next up is this is another one from that Kino cult line we were talking about. Underworld by the one and only Clive Barker is coming on 4K in Blu-ray. And this is going to have a new audio commentary by the director, George Pavlo, moderated by Stephen Thrower, the author of Nightmare USA, of course. And you've got the commentary on the Blu-ray disc and the 4K disc. And this one has been teased for a while, so I'm glad this is finally coming. This is going to be here on December 19th. And this will be number 5 in that Kino cult line.
Oh, very cool. Thank you. I'm becoming more and more of a I'm going to have to make some moves with the Kino cult line here. Okay. Number 5. Okay, so it's spine numbered as well. Oh my goodness.
They are spine numbered. This is the same line where they announced just a couple months ago that they were releasing the Ilsa films next year on 4K.
Oh, cool.
All 4 of those are going to be a part of the Kino cult line as well.
Okay.
Next up, Kino Lorber also announced Scarlet Street from 1945 with Edward G. Robinson and Joan Bennett. This is a Fritz Lang film, and again, this is not final artwork, but I'm sure it'll look something like this on the front. And no new features from what it seems like, unless they announce something later. But it's going to have a brand new restoration from a 16-bit 4K scan of the 35mm nitrate composite, which is really exciting. I'm sure this is going to look just amazing.
Oh, I'm going to have to get this one as well.
I apologize in advance for your bank account.
No problem. No.
Next up, they also announced a 4K release of Fear and Desire, the Kubrick film. No release date on this one yet, but it will have a brand new HDR Dolby Vision Master from a 4K scan of the OCN. Yeah.
This is an interesting one.
Yeah.
I heard about this as well. I was intrigued, and then it's one of those. It's a very, very interesting, peculiar film. I don't know. Have you seen this one?
A long time ago. I probably should watch it again, but it's not one I have an immediate desire to jump back into.
Yes. Do you have? You mentioned you don't have desire necessarily. Do you have fear?
I am afraid that I would tend to hate it. I think if I watched it again.
it's an interesting one in the Kubrick catalog, that's for sure. Yeah. But who knows? Maybe it's this type of high marquee release. The 4K treatment. I think is definitely going to give it some maybe some fireworks. That's for sure. And it's had some pretty decent releases before, but those have been, I think, several years have passed since those releases. So
correct.
it'll be nice to see this. And of course, it's always nice to get the full treatment of the Stanley Kubrick catalog using the most recent technology. So, and it's a very intriguing film. It has interesting usages of actors playing different roles, and the allegory of war, and the use of sound and nature, etc. So it'll be interesting. I might actually get this when it comes time to make my purchase. Again, my wallet might not be so pleased, but.
Well, I may have buried the lead slightly. I'm not sure if you heard the extra special part of this, is that this special edition will include both cuts of Fear and Desire and the Kubrick short films, Flying Padre from 1951, Day of the Fight from 1951, and The Seafarers from 1953, all newly restored in 4K and for the first time in HDR and Dolby Vision. I mean, that's incredibly intriguing.
Yes. Okay. Oh, very, very cool indeed.
Solid sounding release from them. Very curious to see when that comes out. Now, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, because, man, I've not heard so many controversial takes on this film. December 5th, we finally got confirmation Paramount is releasing Titanic on 4K. This is, of course, the Jim Cameron joint from 1997. It's going to have over 15 hours of special features, including a new featurette called Titanic Stories from the Heart, with the director, producer, and Kate Winslet going through memories and favorite moments of the making of the film. A new looking back segment called Titanic 25 Years Later with James Cameron, looking back on how it was made, and then new fan poster art, and 15 hours. There's got to be a lot there. But Titanic, how do you feel about Titanic?
Oh, Titanic. Yeah, I saw it in the theaters when it was first released. So, I was there during the whole phenomenon that was Titanic, which is a kind of a slow burn, actually. James Cameron's films, I think, have this great way of doing that. And I don't know, it's that magic touch, and it was definitely there with Titanic. And I would say too, even prior to that, with films like even like T2, Terminator 2 Judgment Day. So, but yeah, it was a big deal. It was a really big deal to see it in the theater as well. So, I had a thing about this. I may have mentioned this on the channel once, but when I watched it in the late 90s, I was so adamant on, when I sat down in the theater to start the film, I would not get up to leave until the film was over, including the end credits. And so I was so strict about this. Unfortunately, what happened was, during the course of the film, I was drinking a lot of fluids prior to the start, and then during the course, I suddenly felt nature was calling. So I felt the urge to visit the restroom. But I thought, oh no, I can wait. It's okay. I mean, it's I'll wait till the film's end. Well, you think about how long the film is, and then this was just around the time when the Titanic action was about to hit, and so, in the second half, while I'm still feeling this urge to visit the restroom, but adamantly just defying such call of nature, I was watching on screen all this rushing water and breaking of walls and flowing and dripping and all this stuff, and it was really quite an ordeal, a physical ordeal. And when the end credits came, I was just rushing out. Yes, I had to get out to the movie theater restroom. And yes, it was quite an ordeal indeed. So a physical ordeal, but all in the name of movie love. Yes, so that's my Titanic cinema adventure story. It's my Titanic story. Yes,
I've been shocked hearing how many people this week have said that this is an awful movie, and I just can't fathom thinking that about this movie. This movie is so incredible.
It had that effect on especially that generation of being. I remember people like the film critics talking about it being like a huge screen epic.
Yeah,
and it's the screen epics. Really, there is a type of spectacle about it, which is part of the, for lack of a better phrase, genre. And I think this film Titanic really capitalizes on those genre parameters really quite splendidly. Really, I mean, and when I first saw it, I think maybe I didn't take so much to the romance or the love story, but as I get older, that really gets to me.
Yeah.
I really become quite emotionally involved with that. There's something about watching a film as time passes and the years progress as you get older. I think something about Titanic, especially the love story, I think does that for me much more so than when I first saw it as maybe a late teenager or whatever it must have been in the late 90s for me.
That makes sense. I'm just hoping the quality on the 4K is great. We shall see.
Yeah.
Well, it is time, my friend. Some Criterion announcements. These are all coming in January, and I'm pleasantly surprised. Many of these are coming on 4K, and let's get right into it. The first, January 2nd, we are getting the Apu trilogy on 4K. This is from 1955, 56, and 59. It looks like all the same special features to me. Why don't you give a quick rundown of why this is exciting?
Oh, yeah. So start the year with a set of films. It is a re-release, but to start the year with a set of films that is so that are so undeniably almost ingrained into the very fabric of cinema, as the films that comprise the so-called Apu trilogy, Sachejit Rai. This is truly amazing. Now, of course, there's going to be a question, which is a very fair one, as to what will make the 4K viewing experience stand out from the already quite strong Blu-ray experience. But again, that's always been the discussion, I think, with Criterion releases. My understanding is, as you say, we're not talking. We're talking essentially about a re-release of a currently existing item, right, except employing the different technologies. So we're going to have to wait and see about that. But regardless of, at the end of the day, what that discussion point is, the films as they stand already in the Criterion collection, as they look and sound, I mean, it was a miracle that they were able to have been survived in that kind of condition, let alone being released like this some years back. And so if that's a continuation or a reminding of that legacy with this new release for the new year, then yeah, it's as I mentioned before, it's a huge cause for celebration, and it's also a great opportunity for anyone who has not yet seen these films. These are how should I put it? They are really tender and magical and bittersweet, and they're intimate. There's a sweep of history about them, but there's also this intimate, emotional family tale that is just so endearing. So this is great way to start the year.
It really is. We had a question here from Daniel. He says, if you grab the 4K of a Criterion release, and it's the same everything in the release, like a lot of their 4Ks have been, do you get rid of the previous Blu-ray release, or do you keep all of them to keep the collection complete?
Oh, that's a good question. And at the moment, I keep the Blu-ray, not for any other reason except I just keep it. So
yeah.
But sometimes there might be a difference in, say, the packaging used. Like I can say, for instance, the Night of the Living Dead release, the one that I got. The original Blu-ray release was the Digipack, which I really like, but then the 4K release was the plastic casing with the stacked kind of compartment system. So. I usually, I don't know. I don't get around to, I usually keep the Blu-ray anyway, but just, for no particular reason except just to have it, I suppose.
Right. Let's see what the next one is, because, man, I'm sure we're going to get to it after we cover the last one, but I feel like January is one of the most impressive months from them in a long time. The next one, January 9th, they're putting out Blood Simple on 4K. This is the Coen brothers film, and this, honestly, I'm generally not super excited about the re-releases, but I adore the Coen brothers, and this film specifically is just an immense start to a career that is going to be magical over the next however many decades. And Blood Simple, I'd love to hear what you think on it.
Oh, I think it's. I agree. It has this weird way of creeping up on you when you first
Yeah.
watch it. You know, it goes in these ways that you don't quite expect. Not like super twist, but you know these quirky, idiosyncratic ways in which the plot twists and turns, especially in an early Joel and Ethan Coen film like Blood Simple. Obviously, early in terms of the start to
Yeah.
their filmography, essentially in terms of director producer output in the feature film narrative sense. But this is I agree with you. I really enjoy this. So I think whenever I see it, I'm always surprised at how scary it is. I always forget how scary the film is, but then when I watch it, I realize, oh, it's really funny and weird, but it's also very, very scary. And I think that's Coen Brothers films do that really, really well, and they do it even in the latter part of their filmography. But you see it here in Blood Simple done so cleverly, and also just the way in which everything feels so handmade. There's an earnest quality to it, which I always find incredibly charming, and I have nothing but the utmost respect for that.
The fear that you mentioned there, I think the Coen brothers have a knack for tension. They build tension in ways that many filmmakers just can't quite grasp, and the way that they meld the scripting with the music into the way that they navigate through a scene, it is just done so complementary to each other that it makes some of these scenes immaculately tense that you would not really expect to be feeling tension in.
That's right. Yeah, well said.
Next one is one that so many people are excited about. Lone Star from 1996, directed by John Sayles, is coming on 4K and Blu-ray on January 16th. This is going to have a new 4K digital restoration supervised by the director. It's going to have a 4K disc of the film with Dolby Vision, HDR, and a Blu-ray of the film with special features. There's a new conversation on here between John Sayles and the filmmaker Gregory Nava, new interview with Dryberg, and then a trailer and an essay by scholar Domino Rene Perez. I have never seen Lone Star, but I'm dying to see it. Have you seen Lone Star?
Yes.
Sell me on it, my friend. Why should I buy this immediately?
January 2024's Criterion release month, I think, is very stellar. And there are a number of titles that I think we're going to talk about in a couple moments here. But and there are some that really are tempting me to have them be like and I don't usually do this, my favorite or the one that I'm looking forward to the most, because they're all really great. And we'll talk about some others in a moment. But, oh my goodness, if I had to choose one out of the bunch of January releases, and they're all great, but if I had to choose one, I'd have to go with Lone Star. Wow. This one. I heard something about something might happen from Criterion with this John Sayles work. I heard, but again, I'm not privy to the insider knowledge. I just hear what people maybe tell me in passing or something like that. But I don't have the insider information. But I did hear a little bit about the possibility. I was like, oh, maybe this month will be the month Lone Star will come, but it never came until now. And the reason why there's so many reasons, but let's say the primary reason I'm so excited about this is that it is such a good story. Or a series of stories. It's interweaving space and time, generations, mystery, and police procedural, and secrets, and family secrets, and sort of hidden secrets, almost, and the micro and macro level. And when things become unearthed, as you know they must in a film like this, the tension and sparks that fly, and the way that things might or might not resolve themselves. Oh, this is an amazing, amazing feat. I mean, John Sayles is one of those artists, just one of a kind. And I would say for me, Lone Star is among my favorite of John Sayles' works. And so, yes, I will see what this restoration look has in store for us, but this has been something that I think. I've had it on a DVD, and I saw it on VHS rental as well. But
wow,
now to have this news very close to us, only a few months from now, if I had to pick one out of the bunch. Again, it's a really, really strong start of the month. It might be this one for me.
It is a strong month, and one of the reasons it's so strong is because of this. January 23rd, Criterion is releasing a Blu-ray box set of Chantal Ackerman's masterpieces, and it's from 1968 to 78. They've got everything that you would think to see in here. There's so much in here that I couldn't even list everything in this post. So if you are even close to considering this, which you absolutely should be, I would go read everything that's going to be in this, because this set looks intimidating in scope. It looks magnificent in the fact that they grasped all of it together into one piece, which is, I think, a bit of a surprise for a lot of people. I don't think this was necessarily something that people had on their Criterion bingo cards, but it's great, especially to see right after the Sight and Sound poll, and give some more respect to her name.
Oh, that's right. Yes. So a number of things here, which is, as you rightly mentioned, yes, Chantal Akerman. A lot of Chantal Akerman's works are going to be included here, many of which were released by Criterion in past releases. Give a quick shout out to the great DVD line, the Eclipse series.
Yep.
Which had a number of these films already on the DVD format, but now we have it here in this different format. And we have, and this was brought to my attention from a friend and viewer of my own channel, which is, in many ways, this is like a type of reworking of an Eclipse set.
Yeah,
it's not under the Eclipse name, but we have that, plus a number of things that I think were not made available in any Criterion release thus far. Many of them were, but some aren't. But I should say, for many perhaps, which is the one that, again, has also had a Criterion release, Jean Dielman, D'un Toit du Commerce, right, 1080 Bruxelles. That's also part of this set. So, as you mentioned, yes, a lot of attention given to that work, especially with Sight and Sound's most recent critics poll. So, yes, what is it? It's 3 discs, a 3-disc Blu-ray set, I think. Yes. So I think it's going to be one of those where I'm not sure if it's going to be like a huge box thing, but it'll be one of these maybe in terms of size and dimension, something that we've seen with other similarly situated releases. But 3 discs with all these films, I'm sold. Yeah.
Yeah, this is a big deal, especially if you don't have Jean Dielman already, or if you're trying to get a lot of this just grouped together. This is pretty astonishing. So I'm excited to see this. Let's see. From the website, it isn't obvious if they ported over from Jean Dielman. Do we know if they did? I'm not sure. That's a good question. Not entirely sure. Let's go to the next one. Next one is Mudbound. This is coming on Blu-ray on January 30th. Heck of a cast here. Carey Mulligan, Jason Clarke, Jason Mitchell, Mary J. Blige, Rob Morgan, Jonathan Bakes, Garrett Hudland. I've heard nothing but great things about this film. Set in the 1940s. This is going to be a new 2K master, new audio commentary featuring the director, new documentary featuring the director, the composer, the editor, makeup artist, another documentary that was made on set featuring members of the cast and crew, interview with Morrison, interview with the production designer, an essay by Danielle Amir Jackson. There's a lot going into this, and this looks like just a great release.
Yes, Dee Reese, yes. The Criterion, I think a year or so back, released another Dee Reese film, which is called Pariah. And when you listen to some of the supplements on Pariah, you could see some of the mentionings to other works, including Mudbound. And so one got to thinking, is Criterion thinking about releasing this as well? And so maybe some time has passed since the release of that earlier Dee Reese film, but now, lo and behold, look what we have. You're right. This is, I was able to catch up with this one. Not the Criterion list, that's because that's forthcoming, but this is, you're right. This is another magnificent work. very challenging, very, very, very overwhelming. So it's good to have this another contribution to why this month of January is very strong from Criterion. This is a great film, I think.
And as if it wasn't strong enough yet, they also announced Train Spotting on 4K and Blu-ray coming to the Criterion Collection. A wonderful film from '96 that is just very welcome in the collection. And if you've never seen it, this is essential viewing. It is a magnificent film. It should be seen to be appreciated and believed. It is going to have Dolby Vision. We have an audio commentary featuring Danny Boyle, the director, producer, screenwriter, and Ewan McGregor's on it. There are 9 deleted scenes. There's a documentary from 2008. There's an essay, a couple essays by the critic Graham Fuller and the author Irvine Welsh. Welsh's glossary of terms from the film and book, and glow-in-the-dark packaging. This looks like a really fun and pretty exciting release from them.
Yeah, and also it's I'm glad that you read off those the list of supplements and extra little goodies from a physical media perspective, because this was a really big deal. This is a really big deal for a number of reasons. First, the film is, as you say, mind-blowing. It's really intense. It's quite intense indeed in a lot of places. It goes in pretty dark avenues, because of certain aspects of the subject matter, as you know. And it has that sense of also being quite edgy, which I think is very apropos, especially from that era of films. And I think it's aged really well. I don't know about you, but I think it feels very fresh. So
yeah.
But also in Criterion land, it used to be, back in the day, it used to be a Criterion Laserdisc, and a pretty good one.
Yeah.
And even the Laserdisc had a little piece of paper that was like a glossary of terms. And so I think Criterion seems to be trying to carry on, or reminding us of that little tradition that they had with that little goodie for their Criterion Laserdisc. So it seems like maybe they're planning a little bit of that type of thing. So maybe they have that in mind. In any event, I'm always thrilled to whenever Criterion announces a title that used to be a Laserdisc, because it's a reminder of how really wild and fantastic their Laserdisc catalog was. So, and this was one of their titles, and now it's coming to the physical media collection now. So it's wonderful.
It's especially exciting when it had a Laserdisc, but nothing in between Laserdisc and 4K. I mean, to make that sort of a leap, just in the collection, obviously, because it had a Blu-ray release elsewhere, but to make that leap in the collection, that is exciting. And it's nice to see them still respecting the same film that they did back in the 90s.
Yeah.
All right. So that is Criterion for the month. Before we go to the rest of the announcements, just overall, since you're the Criterion man, how do you feel about the first month of the year and that entire package? Because to me, that 6 full titles, one of them being an immense box set, that is a very strong start to the year for them.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think, as I mentioned, I think on the strength on the films, the strength of the films alone, I think has already. I mean, they already got me, so I'm incredibly impressed. And it's usually December is relatively speaking, it's considered to be quote unquote a light month, end quote. Yeah. And then November and January tend to be quote unquote the ones where they get a lot of attention from critics and interested media persons and fans of physical media and cinema alike. So it seems like January 2024 is no exception to that. So
no exception at all. And even December really wasn't that quiet for them this time.
No, you're absolutely right. Yeah.
Well, we're about halfway through the announcements for the week. Next up, Mondo Macabro. They are doing their flash pre-order for their Halloween bundle starting tomorrow morning. This is going to be at 9 a.m. Pacific time. And this is the main title that you're going to want to hear about for this bundle, because in this bundle, this 4K release is going to be exclusive to this pre-order bundle tomorrow. This title will be available on Blu-ray when their sale starts on Halloween. But if you really want it on 4K, tomorrow is the only time to get this one on 4K. 9 a.m. Pacific time. Google it, find out whatever time it's going to be. There will be 750 copies of the bundle made available tomorrow. You can only buy the bundle. We're going to go through all of the titles tonight because they announced one every single day this week. But this one, this is the main one that if you are wanting this in 4K, tomorrow is the only time to get that because it'll probably sell out tomorrow. All 750 bundles will probably sell tomorrow.
Wow. What's the price point on that? Do you know offhand?
Yes, the bundle is going to be $132.
Okay.
And it's honestly, it's not that bad of a price because we're going to talk about all of them tonight. But the amount of stuff that you're getting in this bundle is pretty impressive. So we will get into that. This one looks special. Death Squad from 1985. And as they say here, it is quite possibly the sleaziest movie that they've ever released. And coming from Mondo Macabro, that means a lot because they've released some sleazy movies. And if you watch the trailer they released for this, it is not a joke. This is a sleazy looking movie, and I'm very eager to see it.
Oh, I think you're right. I think it'll be sold out quite quickly. From the sound of things. Oh my goodness. I don't know what I'm going to do. But anyway, yes. I agree wholeheartedly with your assessment.
So starting on Halloween, if you want this one, you can still get it, but it'll be on Blu-ray instead of 4K. So keep that in mind.
Okay.
Next up, I love nature documentaries, and BBC is always some of the best out there. They're putting out Planet Earth 3 on 4K on January 8th in the UK. It'll likely get a US release at some point, but these always look fantastic. These are always astounding. David Attenborough is just amazing on these, of course. How do you feel about these? Have you checked out any of the nature docs?
Not Planet Earth 3, no, but generally speaking, yes, I take to nature documentaries quite favorably.
They get some shots from this that are just exceptional. I can't wait to check that one out. Music Box Films. This is a partner label of OCN, but this one is coming widely not through OCN. They're releasing Fremont from 2023. This will be available on November 14th on Blu-ray, and it is shot in black and white and supposed to be pretty dang good.
I don't know this work. So this is, you say, 2023. You said.
Yep, brand new film. I believe this just did festival circuits early this year or late last year.
Okay.
Yeah, Music Box definitely takes a lot of films that are going on the current circuit, so would not be surprised to hear that they just did that earlier. Next up is Mercy Road is coming on December 12th from Well Go USA. This has Toby Jones. That's the only name that I recognize in this. Luke Bracey is the other name. I've never heard of this one or seen it, but it is coming December 12th.
Oh, wow. Very interesting. I know Toby Jones, yes, but okay.
I am very curious about this one. December 19th, Well Go is releasing The Ghost Station from this year as well. And this says, after a young reporter covers a suspicious accident, she learns from police that her source was supposedly already dead at the time of their interview. As more mysterious deaths occur, she and her partner dig deeper into the case and come face to face with the horrifying truth. And the poster for this looks fantastic, like really intriguing artwork on that.
Oh, what's the name of this again? Again, I apologize. I don't know this as well, but the hook is quite intriguing.
The Ghost Station.
The Ghost Station. Thank you.
Yes. Very curious to check that one out. Then November 21st, Draft House Films, a name that I've not heard for quite some time. They're releasing Mr. Organ from 2022. This is one they've been hyping up for quite some time, doing festival appearances, played Beyond Fest, Fantastic Fest. It's supposed to be all right, but I do like the cover art on this. I'm curious to see this one. I'm also curious if this will be a BDR or if it will be pressed, because Draft House, after they were absent for a few years, and I believe somebody bought them out, the last couple from them have been burn discs rather than pressed.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Next up, one of the horror masterpieces from the last decade, The Wailing from 2016, is getting a 4K release from Well Go USA. Daisuke, have you seen this one? I'm sure you have.
No, I haven't.
No.
People have told me about this.
Yeah, this
yes.
is I call it a folk horror movie. It's a pretty pretty local tradition folk horror type movie, and it's pretty amazing. This is one that if you've never seen it, I imagine this will look great in 4K because there's a lot of dark scenes.
Okay. Oh, yes. I have heard a number of people mention this to you, recommend this to me. So,
yeah, it is absolutely worth your time. Next up, this is a classic. 2024, Discotheque Media is releasing Belladonna of Sadness on 4K.
Yeah.
This is going to be the same 4K transfer that Cinelicious did, thanks to Craig, who's in the chat right now. Craig Rogers from Deaf Crocodile. They are doing a new HDR grade on it, and they say the colors are eyeball searing. This is going to be a 4K and Blu-ray combo release, and it's going to have better compression than releases done elsewhere, it says. An all-new historical commentary by Mike Toole, and some new freshly proofed subtitles, and has all the interviews and everything from the previous releases. I mean, this sounds like a great release of a classic.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you seen this work?
I have. It's been a couple years, but Belladonna is beautiful.
Yeah, it's quite a how should I put it? It's quite a unique and unforgettable journey. Yeah, very intense in a lot of places. But I'm intrigued with this phrase. The colors are eyeball searing.
Yes.
Interesting. I've never had my eyeballs seared, so I wonder how that will be. I actually heard about this on your Instagram account.
Oh, interesting.
So
yeah, this was one. Discotheque. They tend to do Discotheque days where they announce usually about 3 or 4 months with the titles that are coming out, and this is one. It seemed to go under the radar a little bit, but obviously this one needs to be shouted to the high heavens. I imagine this should be a great release.
Yeah.
4K release of Varsity Blues from 1999 is coming on January 9th. It'll be the 25th anniversary of this movie. No idea on features yet. Varsity Blues, you're laughing.
Yeah, I haven't. I saw this in the theater. I haven't seen this since I saw this in my goodness, and now it's a 4K. Wow, that's amazing. That's really cool.
4K release of one of the quintessential millennium type teen movies. For some reason, this one was watched by a lot of people a little earlier than it probably should have been, I think.
Okay, yeah. Wow. Yeah, James Van Der Beek, right? Yeah.
Right at the peak of his popularity.
Right, yes. What is it? Well, yeah. Yeah. James Van Der Beek. Yeah, that's a really interesting period. Yeah, the 90s, right? The late 90s into the
99.
99. Thank you. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, this is one that was very wonderfully parodied in Not Another Teen Movie quite a few times, and but for a good reason. This is a pretty well made movie.
Yeah, I think so too.
Craig says it was his Vander Peak. That's a pretty good pun. Next up, Diabolic DVD is currently running a pretty fantastic sale. If you have not been following some of the other recent MVD sales, they've got a lot of titles on sale from Unearthed Films, Synapse Films, Radiance Films, Arrow Video, 88 Films, just the US titles, not the UK titles, and then Blue Underground as well. This will be running all the way through Halloween. So cool. If you are interested, make sure you check it out. It is it's pretty decent, but also it's MVD, and a lot of their titles are on sale quite often. Like I swear, Arrow Video, if you're really dying for a release, it's probably on sale right now, and if not, it'll be on sale in just a couple weeks. That's what it always feels like. So
cool.
Yeah, just adding to that.
Cool. I should just point out, yeah, Diabolic DB. I've always heard about this when I was in Japan, but now I'll be able to participate directly. So,
yeah, Diabolic has been great for a long time. Criterion had their October flash sale just a
Yeah.
couple days ago, and no point in going too much in detail on it. But we did get a huge announcement. Oppenheimer is getting a 4K release on November 21st, and it's got over 3 hours of bonus features, which is pretty exciting for a movie like this. Did you happen to catch this one in theaters?
No, I was meaning to, but I didn't get to see either this or Barbie. I haven't seen any of those yet. So
It's I think it's a pretty well made film. I think that if it wasn't Christopher Nolan, it would likely not be lauded as much as it has been. But it's still very good. And the big thing is the dialogue here is, as I think, maybe the best dialogue he's written in years. It's pretty well formulated.
But by the way, what's your favorite Christopher Nolan film, or what are some of your favorites, by the way?
I tend to.
I'm sorry to put you on the spot like that, my friend.
I tend to always go back to The Prestige. I think it might be his masterpiece, primarily because it was in that interesting in-between period for him where he had started to get his chops, but he wasn't so large that it became unwieldy yet. And he took this story that was unique and well written and had this incredible twist, obviously, but it is the one that lends itself best to rewatches, I think.
Yeah, that's a good choice. That was a really good choice.
What about you?
Oh, Christopher Nolan films. Oh gosh, maybe. Gosh, I go to perhaps Inception or The Dark Knight or Batman Begins. Yeah, I think I remember seeing Batman Begins for the first time, and it was pretty amazing.
Yeah,
what they were able to do, and the time warps that were happening. It was a really, that was one of the most thrilling experiences I had in sort of quote unquote recent cinema experiences. So probably that, but Inception too. I've always been a fan of that one.
Yeah, that's certainly a fun one, and I think really excelled in the theater experience, which it's Nolan, so a lot of his films do, obviously. But
yeah,
it's just a really great time to be able to see that on the big screen, biggest screen possible, with a crowd of film fans, with people that respect it and are in awe in the moments that deserve the awe. I put up an interview this week with the cast and crew of The Exorcist that had Doug Bradley, Pinhead himself, and Harry Manfredini, the composer of Friday the 13th, and a handful of other wonderful films. So give that a watch if you are so compelled. This one, if you are into indie horror, you may have heard of the Fear footage. This is a found footage I don't even know what to call it, like a group of creators that made a movie a few years ago, and it was a small hit, and they made a couple sequels, and then they are making this called Project Eerie, and you can order this now on the Fear Footage website, and I believe it's going to be another found footage film. It says on Halloween 2020, Jesse and Jacob Warner disappeared while live streaming on social media, and this is that live stream.
Okay.
It's all fake, obviously, but it is very... very interesting. It's actually pretty well made. Everything they've done so far are pretty great.
Oh, interesting. Well, very interesting.
Next up, and I think we're getting semi near the bottom of the road here, although now that I look at it, there's about 12 or 15 left. Saw X or Saw 10, whatever we're calling it. This is coming out on 4K on November 21st. Are you a Saw fan? Have you seen many or any of the films?
Yeah, I'm a Saw fan, but I haven't seen this one yet. But I am a fan. They're very, very yeah. So I'm a fan, but I haven't seen this one yet.
I was lucky enough to be able to catch this in theaters, and I have to say, pleasantly surprised. I think this might be top tier in the entire franchise. Like,
no kidding, really? Oh,
God. I'm not saying it's necessarily the best, but top 3 easily.
No kidding. What are the others, by the way? Just so I know.
Ooh,
Again, I don't mean to put you on the spot, so just.
I would say Saw 3 is definitely there, and then it's a toss-up between Saw 2 and Saw.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah, Saw 3 I think is maybe my favorite in the entire franchise.
Yeah, I think Saw 3 is my favorite as well.
That and then the traps in Saw 2 are just so well made. So well made. Next one, The Color Purple is getting a 4K release, the Steven Spielberg film. This is coming on December 5th on 4K in the US and December 4th in the UK, and it will have a steelbook release in the UK that looks really nice. And there's going to be some of the ported over special features on here. You can pre-order this from Groove now. You can get the UK steelbook on Amazon already. More Spielberg coming to 4K, always a good thing.
Yes, indeed.
Next one. The next Mondo Macabro title. This is a double feature of It's Not Good for a Man to Be Alone from 1973 and The House Without Frontiers from 1972. So this will be a double feature in a slipcover. And this, again, just looks like another solid release. These are both done by the same director, I believe. What is his name? I forgot. Olea is his last name.
I'm sorry, could you say that again? These are new for me as well, so...
Mondo Macabro, both directed by Olea. Olea is the last name. 1972, 1973, and a part of that bundle that's going up tomorrow, and also a part of the Halloween sale. You'll be able to get it at both. And this one is limited to 2,000 copies for the limited edition.
Interesting. Yeah.
Oppenheimer also has a 4K steelbook available at Best Buy to pre-order right now, coming the same time as the standard release. Yeah, looks good. You can pre-order it. It has gone out of stock a couple times, so if you're wanting it, you may want to pay attention sooner than later.
Okay.
Craig from Deaf Crocodile, just to share with you, this is exciting. He got to work on The Dark Knight on the film itself because he worked at IMAX for quite some time.
Oh, no kidding. That's really cool.
He says working on that was definitely a career highlight.
Oh, that's great. This city. Just, I'm sorry. Sorry about
that. You are fine. I love that. Next up is the next Mondo Macabro title, and that is Special Silencers. This is one that people have been hearing about for a long time. Mondo has been not even secretly working on this. They've been very publicly letting people know this is coming. This is the title from 1982, starring Barry Prima. That is supposed to be amazing.
Wow.
This is it's going to be region-free, HD restored, done in the home country. There's an extended version of this with some SD inserts. The Indonesian audio is here, and it's going to have the Mondo Macabro episode of the TV show on Indonesian cinema, which is maybe the most exciting part of this for me. You'll have a commentary by Andrew Leavold on this, double-sided sleeve on this, of course, with a 12-page full-color booklet numbered to 1,500 releases. And available tomorrow, available as part of the Halloween bundle.
That looks so cool.
Looks like a great release. Have you watched many films from Indonesia? No.
I mean, I'm very, very limited in my exposure to Indonesian cinema. So, I've never seen Special Silencers. So,
I think most are limited in their Indonesian cinema because they don't get a lot of releases. So it'll be nice to see this get some wide love. And
cool.
Yeah, I hope people will check this out. Kino Lorber is continuing to put out the Monk series. They're putting out the second season on December 19th. This is going to have all 16 of the season 2 episodes, a couple of the ported over featurettes. We got a character profile, the Minds Behind Monk featurette with the writer, producer, and star Tony Shalhoub. You're going to have another character profile, and then the precinct tours with Jason Gray Stanford, and that is Monk. From Hallmark, one of their Christmas movies, they are releasing 5 more minutes, Moments Like These, on October 24th, and not much to say about it because I don't know much of anything.
Moments like, okay.
Yeah, moments. Of course, I clicked the wrong thing. 1 second. There's a lot of titles this month. This week. Whoops. There it is. 5 more minutes. Moments Like These. And it's supposedly inspired by Scotty McCreery's hit song.
Oh, wow.
And if I remember reading right this morning, I think this was a sequel of sorts.
A sequel. So 5. Wow. It's like a few
Even more
dollars
minutes.
more. Yeah, more. Okay. Wow. Again, I don't know this series, so
It's just Hallmark releasing Christmas movies.
okay.
That's the big thing is people watch them, and I'm just glad they're getting a physical release. Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas is getting a 4K release from Turbine Media in Germany, and you get your choice of 4 different media book options.
That's really cool. Which one would I choose? My goodness.
It's a good question because this is a film that has some great art.
Wow. That's the one that's often seen, I think, in a lot of physical media release. The one that you have on the screen is maybe I'd opt for one of the other choices if I had to. Oh, but they all look so enticing. Oh, that's.
I'm leaning towards this one if I were to get one.
I was going to say the same thing. Yeah.
So the big draw here for everybody that may have the other 4K release, and the odds are Criterion will likely release this on 4K eventually. But the big thing here, this release is going to have Gonzo, the life and work of Dr. Hunter S. Thompson, on Blu-ray, which previously that documentary was only ever available on DVD. Yeah. So that's probably not going to be on the Criterion release, and it's definitely not on the Arrow release. So if you really want that one on Blu-ray, you may want to go for this. Pretty exciting.
Yeah.
Titanic is also going to have a giant collector's edition, also releasing on December 12th. You're going to have a big hardcover coffee table book, detailed ship schematics, reproduction movie prop premiums, including boarding pass, launch viewing ticket, and some other stuff, and then sheet music for My Heart Will Go On. The price on this right now is fairly exorbitant, but I bet it comes down quite a bit.
What is it?
$125.
Wow.
Yeah, I have a feeling it'll probably drop to like 75 or 80, probably. That a lot of times these Amazon pre-orders go up for a very high price and then drop fairly quickly.
Wow. I've sung the song My Heart Will Go On in karaoke a number of times.
How'd you do?
I'm sure everyone wanted to hear that. Yeah, sorry about that. Sorry.
I'd love to hear it. Yeah.
Well, maybe not. It's my singing is pretty dreadful, but yeah.
We'll just blame it on the acoustics in the room. Next up, Indicator announced a few titles this morning. They are releasing the first couple that we're going to talk about on January 22nd in the UK and January 23rd in the US. Both of these are going to be Blu-rays. This first one is Impossible Object from 1973. This is a John Frankenheimer film. And this is going to have 2 presentations of the film. We have Impossible Object, the original French theatrical cut, and then Story of a Love Story, the alternative English language international cut, which is 9 minutes shorter. There's a commentary with Tim Lucas on this, an interview with John Frankenheimer from 73, and a whole lot of other stuff, including a 36-page booklet with some new writing on it. And, I mean, this one sounds great.
Yeah, I heard about this as well. I heard about this, but I didn't catch the part about the different versions. So
yeah,
that's really interesting because I know John Frankenheimer, but I haven't seen this film. So
yeah, from what I hear, this one has not been widely renowned by many.
Yeah, wow, great.
Yeah, that looks great. Next one is Christopher Lee in Jinnah, I believe is how you say it. This is from 1998, so a fairly late one for Christopher Lee. Same thing, January 22nd in the UK, January 23rd in the US. Christopher Lee, actually, he supposedly said this was one of his better performances. He was very proud of this one. And this one has been hard to see for quite some time. This is going to come as an HD master. You got an insightful documentary about the making of the film, the original trailer, image gallery, 40-page booklet with new essays on this. Christopher Lee, how do you feel about Christopher Lee?
Yeah, yes, legend. But I have not seen this work as well. So, his filmography is so immense.
Immense.
Yes. Christopher Lee is just just a legend, absolute legend. So, how do you feel about Christopher Lee?
I tend to love him. A lot of his performances are great. A lot of them can get very samey if you watch a lot of his movies in a short time span. But I think overall, it is because he is great at what he does, and a lot of it will feel very similar because he played a lot of similar characters. But he's great, always great. And then finally, January 22nd in the UK only, because this is a website exclusive title for them, which that's the first time they've done this. And the email seemed to indicate that they're planning on doing that for multiple years. So get used to indicator website exclusives, I guess.
Okay.
The Man Who Had Power Over Women from 1969. This is a Rod Taylor and Carol White film. This one says, the dark side of swinging London is explored in The Man Who Had Power Over Women. Womenizing talent agent Peter Reaney splits from his long-suffering wife, moves in with his best friend Val, and promptly starts an affair with Val's wife, Jodie. Added to the complexities of his personal life is his client, wayward pop star Barry Black, for whom he is asked to cover up a dark secret. This is going to come with a 4K restoration, some interviews. Then we have a training film about the military police from 1956, made for the British Army, featuring Jim Dale, which is supposedly his first acting credit at all. We've got some other short films on here, and it looks like a nice, solid release. But again, website exclusive, and it's limited to only 3,000 copies. You won't find this on Orbit or Diabolic or any other websites. No physical stores, just the website.
That's interesting. I didn't know that about the website exclusivity.
Yeah,
I wonder what that means. Is there anything behind that, or is it just?
It seems like they are maybe looking for better returns on some titles, or it could be to get some people to buy titles that they may not choose if they were available everywhere.
That's an interesting point. Yeah. Okay.
Also, in that email from Indicator today, a couple other things I wanted to share just in case you did not get the email. The first kind of important thing is that they announced they're ending their loyalty program. So if you had bought from their website and you had points, you have until the end of the year to use those points. So don't let them disappear without spending them if you have a giant pack of points ready to go. And speaking of that, a really good time to do that would be that they just indicated that they're about to have a sale before the end of the year to celebrate their 7th anniversary.
7 years already? My goodness.
7 years of Indicator. And I think I just said before the end of the year. I meant before the end of the month. So it's coming in the next 12 days. So Be prepared.
Okay.
Yeah, lots to think about there for Indicator. Indicator, it seems like you know them pretty decently. Have you checked out many of their releases?
Yeah. Especially during the early days, they kind of came out of the gate swinging, and it's been that high road ever since. What was it? What were some of those early titles? What was like Happy Birthday to Me?
Happy Birthday to Me. The John Carpenter Vampires.
Yeah, Vampires. Also Christine, I want to say.
Yes.
No. Yeah.
George C. Scott's Hardcore.
Yeah, Hardcore. Yeah, exactly. So they came, and it was just so they became, I think, in many great ways, and still are a type of a go-to place for a physical media goodness. So
I agree. Next up, A24 just today announced a release of the film Showing Up from 2023. This is a Kelly Reichardt film, which if you've never watched a Kelly Reichardt film, you should, because Kelly Reichardt is amazing. Yeah. And I've heard great things about this film. Stars Michelle Williams, stars Hong Chow, Andre Benjamin is in this, Judd Hirsch, great cast. This is available on 4K and Blu-ray. There's also a commentary on this with Kelly Reichardt, which if I remember right, that's pretty rare. I don't think Kelly Reichardt does many commentaries.
It's interesting.
And it's not one of the giant A24 releases that don't fit on the shelf. The pattern for them seems to be, if it had a previous release, it'll be the giant release. But if it's not had a previous release, it'll be the normal shape of a Blu-ray. So it'll be just the same normal height as all of your other releases, fit on your shelf and everything.
Okay.
But Dolby Vision 4K on this. You got even some other featurettes. This looks great. and fairly inexpensive. I mean, the 4K of this is $35 direct from them. Then the newer film Dumb Money is coming sometime soon on Blu-ray from Sony. We don't have a full release date yet, but you can pre-order this now, and I've heard great things about this. Stars Paul Dano, Seth Rogen, Pete Davidson, Vincent D'Onofrio. I've heard this movie is surprisingly good, but I still need to see this one. And then the last thing that we're going to be able to talk about tonight, the last title for the Mondo Macabro sale, is Dr. Jekyll and the Werewolf on 4K. This is the Paul Naschy title, and when you get this in, it will not be censored with the werewolf faces. Here's the reverse side of this one. Both 4K and Blu-rays are making their world premieres on disc on 4K and Blu-ray. That's astonishing.
That's really awesome. Wow.
As a Paul Naschy title, that's pretty exciting.
Wow, this is very exciting. 4K.
The big thing they wanted to stress to people is that the Spanish licensor for this only had access to the negatives for the original cut, which was the more tame version. So they could not find any more elements, so they had to rely on some standard definition and inserts to get the uncut version of the film, which will only be on the Blu-ray. So the 4K disc will actually be that original Spanish cut, which is the more tame version.
It's good to know. It's really good to know. Wow, this is pretty big. Yeah.
Yeah. Paul Naschy in 4K is always exciting.
Yeah.
This one's going to have a career profile of Jack Taylor. You got some archival interviews with Paul Naschy about the movie itself. The filmmaker Victor Matalano is going to be on the career of the director Neon Klimovsky. New audio commentary with the gentleman from Naschy Cast. You got a slipcover on this one that is going to look like this. Great looking release from them. Again, available tomorrow and also a part of the Halloween sale. You can get the 4K of this both times, tomorrow and during the Halloween sale.
Very nice.
That was it for the week. For what's coming up next week, we always go through this pretty quickly, just in case you forgot. Okay. We've got The Others coming from Criterion on 4K next week. Red Dragon 4K from Kino, Cujo 4K from Kino, Messiah of Evil from Radiance, The Muppets Take Manhattan 4K, Toxic Avenger Collection on 4K, Shaw Brothers Classics Volume 3, Psych the Complete Collection, The Devil Doll from Warner Archive, Fascination 4K from Indicator. I got to get this one. Decision to Leave 4K from Mubi. I want people to not forget that Mubi is doing Decision to Leave on 4K.
Wow.
What else?
Oh, there's also the Godzilla 4K title.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's not going to have English subs, right? Sadly. I think. We've got Contempt from Lionsgate in 4K, the Godard film. Visible Secret from Radiance is next week. Lips of Blood 4K from Indicator. Beast from Haunted Cave from Film Masters. Zombie Holocaust 4K from Severin.
Cool.
That Paramount Scares Volume 1 4K, which this is probably a good time. In case you did not hear, they were going with the whole mystery title idea until release. And now everybody knows that the mystery title, in case you haven't heard, is Sweeney Todd, which I'm actually kind of sad about because now I feel like I want to buy it because I love that movie. Yeah. Let's see. Anything else exciting? That Kino Cult, those 3 titles, those drop next Tuesday, like I had said earlier. Dead Girl from Unearthed Films, a couple from Visual Vengeance next week.
Cool.
Rock Around the Clock from Sony. Vile from MVD. Dark Wind Season 2. The newest Jackie Chan title, Right On.
Cool.
That looks to be about it. Anything from next week other than The Others that you're looking to pick up?
I don't know. I haven't seen the Meg 2, so I've seen a lot. And always, let's see. Shaw Brothers said, I'm a big fan of Muppets Take Manhattan.
Nice.
I saw that in the theater, in fact. So,
I happen to have a Muppet tattooed on my arm.
Are you serious? That's so cool.
Yeah, I've got animal tattooed right there.
Oh, that's awesome. That's really awesome. I always get a kick. You saw the Muppet movie as well, right? I'm assuming.
Oh yeah, many times.
Oh, the animal bit with the yeah, it was amazing. Yeah, but anyway, sorry. Yeah, well done, well done. I yes, my respect for you, it was already through the roof, but now it's just into outer space. It's amazing.
Yeah, Muppets were formidable for me. They were a saving grace for me.
Uh,
Thank you for watching The Disconnected. On the way out, make sure that you are subscribed to the channel, that you've liked the video, and that you've copied the link to be able to share with someone else that may appreciate this.